Caitlin Clark returns for the playoffs. That's the question that I have. Will Caitlin Clark return for the playoffs this year? You've got 3 games left in the WNBA, and now it's time to play it up. And Caitlin Clark, you got to understand, Caitlin Clark injury, we've been doing this for a long time. Caitlin Clark has not played basketball. I think you're looking at somewhere about 12 to 13 games this year. With 3 games remaining, would it make sense for Caitlin Clark to return for the WNBA playoffs? She's been progressing in the rehabilitation. As they've said, Caitlin has moved to 5-on-0, where she's not engaged in practice competition, but she's engaged in just freely running and seeing what the pain tolerance will be. So she's been progressing in the rehab. There's no doubt about it. It could be available if the Indiana Fever make the playoffs, right? That's where it stands, and what impact could that have? Well, let's be real. If you get Caitlin Clark back, without Caitlin, offense has been an extremely predictable struggle. Now, I was unaware that Alyssa Thomas took the podium and said, well, with Stephanie White, she's doing the same thing and ran the same offense and defense we ran in Connecticut. So basically, they considered the game was fixed for them to win. And I talked about that, but that's not the story for today, because Kelsey Mitchell, has had to carry a huge load for the Indiana Fever, more than anyone would ever expect that Mitchell has done. But if Clark comes back, that's going to literally change everything that the Indiana Fever have. In fact, it changes their offense to where Indiana Fever can get back to scoring 100 points a game with Caitlin Clark. Without that, you're subjective to 60 to 80 points a game, and the facts are the facts, and they dictate that. And Kelsey's just carried such a big load. I mean, you have to be honest, it's virtually impossible to do what Kelsey Mitchell has done. The season Kelsey Mitchell has had this year will equate to the season that Caitlin Clark had last year. I don't know if Kelsey Mitchell will ever match again what she's done this year for the Indiana Fever. So, and what does it do for the league? If you get Caitlin's return for the playoffs, then you can battle the NFL head-to-head, because you're going to get some of the viewers that would watch the NFL, they're going to travel over to the WNBA because Caitlin Clark has returned, and it instantly raises the ticket prices, raises the stadium costs. Everything goes up because this will be the playoffs with Caitlin Clark. And, nobody wants to really face the Fever when you got Caitlin Clark. They're beating the Fever now, but with Caitlin, they know this will be a little bit different because they've already played against Caitlin. So here's the deal that I see. The Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast, all things are possible to those who believe. I see Caitlin returning for the playoffs. And it's not just about one person. It's about the entire team or loving basketball for Boston. But she's dealing with adversity, and they're really being cautious and taking the extra measure to make sure they don't re-injure Caitlin again. So it's all about momentum. And if the Indiana Fever make it into the playoffs, then the Indiana Fever, with the return of Caitlin Clark, are going to gain a tremendous amount of momentum. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. We thank you for tuning in. All things are possible to those who believe. We'll keep you posted.